live?
Are we live?
Are we live? Are we live? Hello, hello. Welcome, you guys. Good morning to Signature Real Estate Group. I appreciate you all being here, and those of you online, thanks so much for chiming in. Today's topic is going to be the naughty list. Of course, that's exactly why I'm here. So all the other brokers are pretty jealous that they've missed all the naughty meetings that I get to put on, except for Todd. He gets to do this with me. Yeah, I almost wore my shirt that, you know, where you can go naughty versus nice, the one from Christmas. So before I get started though, we want to welcome Gabby from Prosperity. Come on up, madam. What you got? What you got? A little bit high. Let's give her some chairs. Let her feel welcome.
So today we're actually going to have somebody present. Her name is Miriam. She's from United Credit Education Services. She's going to talk a little bit about how to fix somebody's credit, and then she's also going to talk about how to maintain good credit, and also how to have your borrowers save money at the same time, so we have funds to close. So Miriam, can you come up here? Guys.
Goodness, look away, people. Okay. I know, I used to work with kids to CSD, so, you know, kids are like, yay! You guys are not awake. It's not working. Okay,
Second one.
I know, no problem. Okay, so I'm not going to take a little bit of your time. I know you guys have stuff going on. So he's going to play a video, and that's going to explain everything that we do in our company. And if you have any questions, the link at the bottom, that's where you can find me. My whole information is on there. And if you're more interested at the end, you can pass me your card and then we can chat later on. Sounds good? Awesome. Sounds great?
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you all ready? Yep. Are you ready? All right.
Do you ever feel like you're struggling to keep your head above water? Does it seem like your financial goals are always just out of reach? Are you trying to buy a home or car, find a job, or rent an apartment, but are facing rejection because of poor credit, excessive debt, or high interest rates? Are you not sure where you should turn next? United Credit Education Services is here to help. We're assisting people just like you secure their financial future through our amazing UCES Protection Plan. The UCES Protection Plan is a powerful array of products designed to make a three-pronged approach to excellent financial well-being by helping you rebuild and maintain your credit, organize and take control of your financial future, and protect both yourself and your family from uncertainty. Your credit score is the most important number in your financial life, and having a low credit score can lead to you paying significantly more, tens of thousands to even millions of dollars more in interest over the course of your lifetime. A low credit score can even cost you a potential job, vehicle, or home. And while building and maintaining an excellent credit score might seem like an arduous task, the UCES Protection Plan has the tools to help you get started. Included with your UCES Protection Plan is our powerful credit restoration program. If you are one of the 4 in 5 Americans with an error on your credit report, this program will aid you in the process of disputing inaccurate, obsolete, and erroneous items that may be negatively impacting your credit score. Helpful videos, tips, and customer support are here to help you every step of the way. You'll also have access to the resources in our Credit Builder program, allowing you to learn more about how credit works and how to build your score going forward. Protecting and maintaining your score is just as important as improving it, which is why we've included credit monitoring, allowing you to check the status of your credit score as often as you need to.
We're just making sure you're awake.
Which is why the UCES Protection Plan offers tools to help you stay on track. Organize, balance, and stay on top of your monthly spending with our budgeting planner. Make a plan to get yourself out of debt as quickly as possible with our debt payoff calculator. Manage your progress and get regular reminders when saving for any purchase, big or small, with savings goals. And determine your ratio of assets to liabilities with our net worth calculator. Using all of these products in conjunction with each other will allow you to take an efficient approach to managing your finances and maintain an organized financial lifestyle. Once you've organized your financial profile and achieved your credit goals, you'll want to make sure that you protect these assets and your identity. In today's
This is the part where you fill in the blank. So it's-
Our state-of-the-art identity monitoring service will safeguard and secure your personal identity. Additionally, as you're taking the proper steps to protect your identity today, know that it is extremely important to also have a long-term plan for your future in place. Make sure that you and your urgency with our top-of-the-line will and trust program, My Care Plan. My Care will guide you through drawing up your will, create a living trust, and ensure your financial and medical decisions are in the right hands with powers of financial and medical attorney. You'll also have financial lockbox, which safely stores all your personal and financial data to be readily available to the person you choose in the case of an emergency. Being prepared with these critical services is the best way to protect yourself and your assets, while offering the peace of mind that you and your loved ones are cared for no matter what. Every one of these important services are included in your UCES protection plan to ensure that each aspect of your financial well-being is taken care of for years to come. And while other companies and individuals offer similar services separately with fees that can total thousands of dollars, the UCES Protection Plan membership is offered for a one-time activation fee of $99 and a low monthly payment of only $89. So what are you waiting for? Investing in yourself is important, and without action, it is impossible to improve your finances, your credit, your security, your entire financial well-being. You and your family deserve a secure future, and you deserve to have your financial goals be within reach. Contact the agent that showed you this video and get your UCES Protection Plan membership started today so you can begin enjoying the benefits of having a safe and secure financial plan.
Okay guys, I'm gonna take 2 more minutes from you. Basically, we start from like A to Z. You know, we understand that your clients need to, you know, have good credit, but nobody knows how to fix their credit. Nobody knows how to use it. So we actually teach them how to use it, how to build it, the do's and don'ts, you know, the percentages or what it means to, you know, have good credit. So that's the reason why I love doing this. I actually started where you guys are. I started in real estate. I have a real estate license that I use because I'm a little bit more occupied taking care of you guys' clients. Because I go like, you know, I've had a few clients from them where it's like people need to be like almost babysat. Like, okay, you need to send the letters, you need to do this, you need to do that. So I take care of all those things. Because when I got here to this country, I had no idea what it was to have credit. I went and I actually asked for loans 11 times in less than 2 months. We know how bad that is. A lot of us make that mistake, so that's the reason why it's so important for me, especially being Latina. I speak Spanish too, I'm bilingual. So a lot of my people, we're completely lost at this. We don't even know where to start or anything, so that's why we take care of that. So it's only $89 a month. On the 4th month, it goes down to $69, and they are I'm blanking out the lawyers that we have with Rocket Lawyer. That's the word I was looking for. So Rocket Lawyer will also, you know, help them with any issues that they might have. But at the beginning, they get all 12 services, so they would get like, you know, if they need to do savings, if you guys need them to start saving for that deposit or, you know, paying their debts, anything like that, we have them covered. So that's basically it. At the end, like at the bottom of it, it's my link, so you can contact me directly, like I said, or I'll wait for you guys at the end so you can talk to me for a little bit. Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. So do you see how this could be helpful? Yeah? Do you have any clients that you've put into maybe rental properties that haven't qualified for loans, and you know, you can put them through a program like this to get them into a property and you can get more money? Yeah? So take advantage of this, reach out to them directly. You've got flyers on every single one of these chairs. Hi! And give them a call. I'm sure Gabby can also connect you if you, and you said you got all your clients go through there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Most of them just go through them? Cool. All right. Success rate on getting
Well, 3 to 6 months, the good thing about us is that we don't send like 2 or 3 collections at a time. Whatever they have going on right now, we send it all out. So when I actually started with the program myself, because I needed it too, I had 12 collections on there, 7 came back erased. already. So, like this, it's just a matter of your clients actually really wanted it. It's like
Is that 3 months, is that 6 months?
well, by law, you know, the bureaus have 30 to 45 days to respond to your clients, so you still have to give it that time, so we only say 3 to 6 months, but mine, on one of them came back within 2 weeks. I think it was Experian, it was a while ago, it was like 3 years ago. And again, I had 12 things on there, and 7 came back erased already on the first round of letters. So we're really efficient, and it's like, it's a quicker, you know, time, because we don't send one at a time, we send everything at once. We also have tools for credit building, so like any of your renters that have been renting and paying on time every single month, we can put that rental history onto their credit as well. We could do 1 year or up to 2 years. And right now, we just got a secure credit card that can actually get them out of being secured within 4 months. So we're really working hard for you guys. I hope you guys really take advantage of it.
I like it. I didn't realize how big credit was in this country. Didn't matter to me for a really long time, and then I had to get a home loan, and I was like, oh, wait, that's not.
You have to start paying attention.
I had to start paying attention, pay my bills and stuff, yeah.
Okay, so can I talk about something real quick?
Sure.
Not that.
I mean, you've got the mic, go ahead.
Yeah, so listen, Signature has set up a client appreciation event for you to invite your clients to. It'll be an Easter event, it'll be at a park in Henderson. There'll be an Easter egg hunt for different age groups. I believe that it is the first Saturday of April 9th, is that what it is? Anyway, it's on the calendar, it is in April, the first week. You should start today inviting your clients to come to this, bring their children. We are asking agents to set up what they're calling booths. As an example, your booth could have face painting. By the way, that's the one I picked, so you can't, nobody else can do that one. You could do an egg toss, you could do a 3-legged race, you could do, so each team or group of people at an office, or if you want to just do it yourself, lenders, you can come and kind of set up a booth there, so there's an activity for all of the kids to go around and do. It'll be a great time. I want to be clear though, this is an opportunity for you as an agent to invite your clients, your past, your current, your potential, anybody that you might be in a relationship with right now that may or may not need to sell a house in the next, I don't know, 35 or 40 years, however long you intend to be in the business. This is an event you should invite them to. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And their kids will have a great time, and I can assure you that you'll get repeat visits from this. And I'm going to share a quick story. Do you have time?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking for the ongoing rumors, how about?
Okay, so yesterday, or sorry, not yesterday. Yesterday was Monday, so this would have been like Thursday of last week. We get a phone call, and we being my team, and it's a past client, and they decided to move to Kansas. Yeah, I don't understand what's in Kansas either, but April 9th? Okay, so April 9th.
No time or date on the flyer.
Yeah, it'll be all day. No, there'll be a time, just look at the calendar, watch the calendar, the details will be there. You should start inviting people. It's a save the date kind of thing, okay? Save the date, it's April 9th, and it'll be a 3 or 4 hour period of time, typically in the morning. We'll have an exact, the reason we don't have an exact time yet is because we have an exact location, but we'll get that stuff worked out this week. So we get a phone call from a past client that we sold her house and bought a new house in Henderson. Now they're moving to Kansas. And she calls up and she says, hey, we'd like to sell our house. We're like, wow, you only lived there 2 years. That's pretty fast. What's going on? And she says, well, we're moving to Kansas, blah, 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 whatever her story is. And she says, listen, I want to thank you guys for inviting us to the movies. And I was like, okay, we did a client appreciation party last year where we invited a bunch of our clients to the movies. And it was a great time. Didn't cost them anything. They got to come watch a movie. It was, I don't know, pirate movie or something. Can't remember. Anyway, what she said to me was, and I'm really sorry about what happened. And I said, no problem, but I don't really know what happened, so can you fill me in? And she said, well, don't you remember that when we sold our house and when you bought us this house, I MF'd you on the phone. Like she got on the phone and she tore me a brand new one. And I do remember this conversation, but I don't remember that she had actually MF'd me. And she says, I was really, really uncomfortable at the movies. And I said, well, I'm sorry that you're uncomfortable because I don't remember that. I get MF'd a lot. So,
Did you wonder about me?
no, I just said, look, in this business, tensions run high, emotions are, I mean, it's part of being in the business, right? But my point is, we invited her to a movie, and that's why she called us to sell her house. Because she already felt bad. She probably was embarrassed that she wasn't going to give us a call, but we invited her to a movie, something very simple. This is the same type of event. The credit isn't whether they come. The credit you get is that you invited them. If they don't show up, don't be mad about it. Just invite everybody you know. If they show up and there's too many people, we'll deal with it. Don't worry. Just invite everybody you know. This is a great event to get your clients out to. April 9th, we'll get a location and a time very quickly. And if you were interested in doing some type of booth, we'd love to have as many booths as possible there. So, cool. Sorry. Go ahead.
Why are you sorry?
This is your show.
No, it's our show.
I'm co-hosting today.
No, that's great. So make sure you guys, we do a couple of these throughout the year. This is the first one, and we've got the trunk or treat that we're going to do in October. We've got, and there's quite a few things that we do. We've got the paper and pancakes that we do in December, right? So take advantage of this. You don't have to do it on your own. We've got stuff set up for you. Of course, I'm sure you could use some help.
Yeah, we're asking for people to set up booths and those types of things. So yeah, just send an email to anybody that's in the company and say, I want to have a booth. You can send it to Ashley, you can send it to Todd, you can just say, hey, I would like to do one.
Don't send it to me.
Here's what I want to do. And
I'm not in charge.
We'll get you on the list to make sure everybody's updated on it.
Perfect. All right, so here at Signature, as a Signature agent, you get free CE classes. Does everybody know that? Yeah, and we offer them at a minimum of once a month. We also have pre-licensing, we have post-licensing, so if you know anybody who's looking to get into the business or is in the business and hasn't done their post-licensing, we can help them do that too. And so to talk about that, I've got Lewis. Hi.
Yeah, CE classes all over the place.
You get a microphone.
Stand in between you guys.
Do you want to sit? Sit.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, I'll sit.
Okay.
Okay, so I started in this position last August. Sorry, thanks.
She's not using microphones.
Use the microphone. And I think I've come a long way. So I try to do CE classes on Wednesdays or at least 2 or 3 times a month. Just to be consistent so that you guys know when they are. This month, I've got one tomorrow. I've got one, then we skip a week because I have post that week. And then I have one on the 23rd, but I'm just teaching one on the 25th. So we've got 4 this month, 3 are left. These are out in the hallway. They've been sent to you on the ongoing rumors from Persia. So just pay attention to these. What I do ask is that you register online at signatureschoolnb.com and just go to continuing ed, click on the free for signature agents and fill in the forms because I keep track of who all signs up and, numbers, that thing. Okay, so next week, if anybody knows anybody that needs post-licensing, it starts next Monday through Friday, except for Tuesday, it's here in this classroom. Tuesday is going to be Zoom because we have 2 other things going on in the classroom. Post-licensing, who needs post-licensing? Anybody here? Anybody? No, you're all good? Okay. I think I have about 10 people signed up so far. Spread the word if you're a team leader and some of your team members need posts, get them in here right away. It's better to do it early than to wait. Because what I try to do is teach them how to be a real estate agent, what they need to do, how to fill out forms, disclosures, how to do a business plan, all sorts of good stuff. So the earlier, the better, okay?
And as a reminder, none of these are limited only to Signature agents. So if you know people outside of Signature that are looking for CE classes or post-licensing or pre-licensing, send them to signatureschoolnb.com.
Yeah, or my phone number, it's always on here. And then as far as pre-licensing, I'm working on the website. I finally got some videos up that have been waiting, and I finally figured it out. And we're updating it almost every day, little bit by little bit, once we figure it out. It's hard. Okay, so pre-licensing is ongoing, and also on the 30th of March, I'm going to have from 1 to 4 a pre-licensing review class. So if you know anybody that's in the school or wants to get in the school or whatever, it's not on any calendar other than I'm just spreading the word to the people who are already enrolled. So let me know if you have pre-licensing. March 30th, 1 to 4. Okay? So some people out of your office, I think, should come. Awesome. Anybody else? Back to Bob.
All right, Lois.
All right, let's talk about the naughty list. There's some really good, there's some big players on this list this time. Some big fines.
They weren't playing this time.
They were not messing around over at the real estate division, that's for sure. So, couple of things to remember is that if you've ever had a complaint filed against you, the first thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a notice sent to the broker, me, most likely. And then you will get a notice from me saying, hey, we've got an issue, let's resolve this. The real estate division's been really kind to us in the sense where they will allow us to fix it before it becomes an absolute violation. And if you can turn that stuff over to me in as little time as possible with all of your, this is what really happened, this is what, here's all my files, and here's everything that was involved in the communication. The sooner you get that over to me, the sooner I can respond over to the real estate division, the sooner we can be done with it. If for some reason it doesn't, whatever you give to me does not satisfy the real estate division, bless you, bless your heart, it would turn into a violation. And then just an FYI.
It would turn into an investigation.
An investigation.
And then if they investigate.
Correct.
It could
Then
be
it
a
could be a
violation.
violation. All right.
And then you get to party with these people.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You get put on the list.
Not where you want to be.
Right. And so if you have an investigation, just to give you a heads up, cases that get filed today and actually start getting investigated today take about 2 years to come in front of the real estate division. The real estate division meets 4 times a year, right? Every quarter, 3 times here in Las Vegas, once in Reno. And when they meet, they review all of the potential violations that need to be addressed through that investigation. The fun part is that the real estate division investigates this, and then if you're found guilty, you also get to pay for the investigation, the cost of investigating, which is amazing.
Yeah, they publish here how much it costs, so we'll talk about how much each one of these cases cost.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let me say real quick. You're probably wondering, like, how often does somebody get a violation? How often does the division reach out to us? It's often enough that we want to talk about this, all right? And here's some of the most common things. We're going to get a call from the division. Ballman is going to get a call from the division. And it's going to say, hey, so-and-so has their social media and there's no license number on their social media. Or, hey, there's a sign out on this property and it has the agent's name on it, but it doesn't have the company's name. Or the company's name's not big enough. It doesn't match, it's not like font to whatever the advertised agent's name is. So those are the kinds of things that the division reaches out and says, hey, we might look the other way till Friday if you could get this fixed. If you can't get it fixed, then, so when you get that call or that email that says, hey, the division wants this fixed by this date, don't play around with the date, all right? That should be like, stop what you're doing today, get it fixed today, so we can get it back over and they can re-review it and make sure that it's gonna work out. So those are the common things.
Yep, those are the easy ones. Those are easy though, right? It's like your brokerage name is missing on social media, on Facebook, your license number is missing. I mean, that's easy. You can get to that pretty quickly. It takes 2 days for Facebook to update, stuff like that, right? And then just to make sure we understand, the brokerage name or logo has to be in prominence, okay? That means it's gotta be bigger than your name or your team name, okay? Janet actually takes a ruler and measures. So if you've got some, calm down. So she, like, if you bring her a flyer and say, here's the flyer, is it approved? She will measure your team logo and the signature logo and say, well, this should be a little bit more in prominence, and so she'll ask you to do that. What I always recommend on that, just an FYI, is that you should have your logo, your team logo, and the brokerage logo as one logo. You do that and it's approved that one time, it's approved every time, okay? And then as a reminder, your license number has to be what I like to call one click away, right? So it has to be easily findable. The real estate division has to be able to find it in your about section or your bio section or something like that. It has to be easily findable, right? One click away. So those are easy fixes. It's stuff like property management, right? Which tend to be the things that people get in trouble for all the time.
Yeah, so in here today, there's actually 2 cases that I've read through here that I believe happen way more often
Yes.
in real life. There's some here that are like super extreme, right? And those are kind of fun ones to talk about. But there's 2 in here that I would be willing to bet that 50% of this room is going to go, oh crap, I may have done that.
Which one?
We'll talk about it.
All right, let's do it. Let's start number 1. All right, so the first one that we've got is in reference to property management. This particular lady started doing property management for her father. And she was, has anybody read this, by the way? Does anybody know where I'm getting this information from? It is from the open house. The Nevada Real Estate Division puts these out once a quarter, right? So there's one, this is the spring 2022 open house. And our favorite part as brokers is the disciplinary actions and stipulations. These are the ones that we look at because we get to see what people are doing, how they thought they could get away with it, so on and so forth. Well, this particular lady decided that she was going to do property management using her father's license, which is fine, except that he passed away.
It's not fun.
It's not fine. You're right, it is not fine at all. And so because he passed away, he no longer held a real estate license or a property management permit, and he's the one that needs to be doing that, not her, and she didn't have a permit. And so she was collecting rents, taking care of all of the repairs, handling vendors, so on and so forth, for these landlords and with tenants. And so that's a massive violation. She has, how many cases did they say? Did they say in here?
They didn't. I didn't.
But from 2015 to 2020, at least 16 times of engaging in conduct that is deceitful, fraudulent, or dishonest. And then from 2017 and 2019, there were 2 times that she submitted consent to service documents and a real estate termination form to the division bearing some client's signature, the father's
That's
signature.
her father,
Yeah, his signature. So the fine for that, for all of those, $275,000. Was that right? I can't read anymore.
300.
$375,000.
And
I'm gonna look at my glasses.
if that wasn't enough,
Right.
if $375,000 wasn't enough of a fine, she also gets to pay about $4,000 in investigation fees. So this is the fee that the division charges for doing the investigation.
$39,6581 in division costs and fees, and then
Yeah,
license,
4,000, you know.
license and permit revoked, but she didn't have a permit.
Well, somebody's license was revoked.
Somebody's license and permit were revoked.
Well, so it's not clear if she actually went and got that at some point. I mean, maybe she did go get a license because she thought, oh,
After
I
2020.
don't want to get caught. And then she got caught and her license was, but yeah, it says revoked. You guys know what that means, right?
Yeah.
No more, ever. Not just suspended for a year, but you're finding a new business to be in.
Yep, and so this case went on for like another page, right? So $375,000 in fines for engaging in property management without a permit. Property management without a permit, so can you, as a non-permitted property, as a licensee that doesn't have a property management permit, can you write up lease agreements?
Yes.
Yes, I was asking them.
Oh, sorry.
Can you write up lease agreements?
Yes.
Yes, you can. You can write up lease agreements. Can you write lease agreements for landlord-managed properties? Yes, you can. Your license allows you to write the lease agreements for landlord-managed properties. Now remember, there's 2 types of property management. What?
Tell me what you mean by landlord.
I'm getting there. There's 2 types of lease agreements. You see why, two types of lease agreements that are in transaction desk. One of them is for property managers, that property managers can use. This came about in the 2017 legislative session. So property managers do not have to have signatures notarized, okay, by the landlord or the tenant. Because for property managers, we do supposedly do things that are in the best interest of the client and not deceitfully, not fraudulently, right? Everyone else except for this chick and everybody else that's in this list. But there's a second version, it's called AB 161. It's a lease agreement AB 161, and that's for landlord-managed properties. You can write that, provide that, give that to the landlord, but it requires notarization from the landlord and the tenant. The purpose of that was to stop squatters. I mean, squatters are not gonna follow the law.
Yeah, I've never heard one go, oh, this isn't a good deal, because it didn't get notarized, like they don't know.
Let's not get into politics right now, but that was the purpose of that AB 161, and it's now law, so you have to have for landlord-managed properties, that lease agreement, that's AB 161, that's in transaction desk. Yes?
Just real quickly, I've been renting my own properties for 20 years. And
So you're the
You need a property
landlord.
So I'm the landlord. I'm the landlord.
You're the slumlord.
Do
back row.
I have to have that form because I just renewed their lease and I saw that.
Yes, ma'am?
And it's supposed to be notarized?
Are you a property manager?
No.
Okay, so.
Only a real estate.
So you are a landlord managed, so two things have to happen for you, is that it has to be a landlord managed lease agreement,
Yeah.
which is the AB 161.
Yeah.
And then you have to put in there somewhere that you are also a licensee.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
And you and the tenant need to notarize it.
correct,
They both have to be notarized.
correct.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how we keep squatters from moving into your house.
And you cannot be the notary, somebody else is the notary.
Even though it's just a renewal after 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Because, let me tell you a funny story. That went into law well before 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So you had that tenant in that home and you've broken the law
3 times.
3 times.
Let's just not announce it, I mean,
I'm
let's
just-
just watch this on YouTube, she's going to jail. The bus is not gonna come by today, I hope.
Well, and here's the funny story. I sat on the legislative management team when this bill came about, and I looked at it, and they said, well, everybody's gonna have to do it. And I said, absolutely not. No way in hell are we gonna have every single person. If you're a property manager, you should be exempt from this, right? And so we got that, thankfully. But as I looked at the bill, what I noticed was there's no teeth to it. So even though you,
Technically.
figuratively, technically, whatever you want to call it, could have broken that law by not having that in place, there's no teeth to it, right? It is meant for protection of your property. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if we're going to do this, guys, right, we are licensees, and so we know better, so let's make sure that we're using the right forms. Fair enough? Any questions on that? Okay, next. We know this guy. Number 2. So,
We do.
we do.
He got the big R also.
Yeah, so no longer with us. We have, there is again, managing properties without.
Oh, I know who this is.
I just told you that.
Oh, my.
Managing properties.
Let's have a whole new meeting now.
This is a very interesting one because on the front side, it didn't feel like there could have been a problem, right? It didn't feel like like from the realtor's perspective, from the licensee's perspective, it was like, I did what was in the best interest of my client, and I was doing everything I could to make sure that they were happy, right? I was going above and beyond.
Yeah, his argument wasn't a bad argument.
No,
It really wasn't.
he was going above and beyond.
But he was against you.
Yeah. Oh, switch out? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Tell me, do these look better?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this particular one, thank you, I appreciate that. I like that you have variations of glasses and everything. So this particular one was, I have a client that's from out of town that lives in another country.
How much of this can we tell?
It's now public.
Sweet.
Who was it?
Yeah, so the names are always published, by the way. So the previous one was Pamela Jo Green, okay? That was, the case number was 2020-866. If you want to hear about that, that's a $375,000 fine.
Yes, by the way, she's in first place in this particular edition because of the $375,000 fine. She got the big blue ribbon.
The next one was Anson. Case number was 2019. That's when it was filed, by the way. It was in 2019 is when I filed this. Oh.
You should just tell
Dash
them.
224.
Just tell them.
And so what happened was, I have a client that's from out of town, right, is what he said. I've got a client, he's from out of town.
Out of the country.
Out of the country,
Yeah.
sorry, out of the country. And so this particular client bought some rental properties, and the rental property ended up having some water damage. And so I met with a remediation company, and the remediation company went out to give us an estimate of what the remediation's gonna be. Now, does that sound like it's okay to do so far?
The remediation was somewhere in the $17,000 range, if I remember.
Yeah, but let me also back up for a second, because it wasn't during due diligence. It was after closing.
Oh, yeah, this was when he...
So now-
Yeah, he was the owner of the property at the
So
time.
now, is that a problem? That's the problem, right? Is that now he's acting like a property manager that's maintaining, meeting with vendors, blah, blah, blah. Can you do that after closing? Your license ends at closing. Like, you are done, right? So when people are like, or even a cancellation or termination or whatever, you are done. Because your license is meant for a transaction. And so since he is not a property manager with a permit, when he went in and did all of
I
that,
believe there was a tenant living there.
there was.
And so this is not only after closing, but this is after he had placed a tenant.
Correct.
Collected a little bit of money.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun
Put it into a
fact,
bank account.
the bank account didn't belong to the landlord.
That's my point.
The
He
bank
put it in the
account
wrong bank account,
belonged to him.
personally.
And so he did this not only for one client on one property, but he did it for several clients on several properties. And so there is you guys all know my rule here, right? You can pretty much get away with murder as long as you don't break 3 rules. One of them is for Janet, and that's don't come in here dressed like it's a day club, right? She don't like that. Everybody pull their skirts down a little bit, yeah. Don't lie to any one of us, because we will have your back, right? You lie to us, it's hard for us to then help you.
Well, we probably don't have your back at that point.
Yeah,
You don't
we're
lie
done.
about it then.
And then the third is, don't break the rules. Like, you've got NRS, NAC, Code of Ethics, all that stuff, right?
Or don't get caught breaking the rules.
Don't. So, anyway, so then this particular, so then what had happened was, the landlord called us and said, hey, I'm having an issue, here's the problem, we've got all these properties, remediation, and we sent money for the remediation, but nothing's been done on the property. So this particular agent held the funds from the landlord and was going to pay it back.
I was wrong on the amount, it was $25,000.
It was a little, yeah, it was a lot.
Not 17.
24,660 exactly.
24,660.
Collected security deposits from the tenant, failed to remit or account for the funds to the property owner, transferred $24,000 to himself for repairs to the property, failed to pay for all the repairs that were completed, but informed the complainant that he had taken care of the payments, which, by the way, they found out because there was a lien filed on the property. Because the repairs were done, not paid for, they filed a mechanic's lien on the property, and the landlord called and said, WT.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up? Where's
So
my...
you got this call, right, from the landlord, personally? By the way, this agent was at Signature at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, I don't know, I'm gonna say this, but this agent was at Signature at the time. I was not at Signature at this time. I got involved in a different way. But Signature is who pushed this through. Like, this was a big enough problem that Signature needed to fire this agent, right?
Well, and here's the thing, I know Brandon's probably cringing in his chair right now listening to
Yeah,
it.
he's on an airplane.
You know what? That's what you get when you leave us in charge. So, so what the issue is here is that you all know we don't stand for stuff like this, right? I mean, if you break the rules, you need to either reprimand yourself or we'll do it for you, right? Because it's not okay. We expect you to be better here. We have always expected our agents to be better here.
Well, we expect you to be better to the point that there's 6 brokers that you can get a hold of at any time. This is not a typical brokerage where there's one broker that only works from 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday.
Correct.
And they're not in the, you have 6 brokers you can get a hold of at any time. If there's any question in what you're doing, you should be asking.
Right.
100%, and this guy didn't.
No.
Well,
And I don't know if it would have helped to.
Yeah, I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, so here's the thing, you guys. I mean, that one was fines, what did I say it was? Who was paying attention?
$55,000.
$55,000. I took off my glasses, so thank you.
$4,500-ish for investigating fees.
Yeah.
So when you fire him, he's still an agent though? He just-
So if I don't fire him, let me tell you, if I don't fire that agent and he does it in the 5, 10, 30 days again, you know who else gets in trouble? Me. Why? Failure to supervise. I gave him an opportunity to screw another client, to be deceitful and fraudulent, right? So it's really on me to make this right.
But he's still an agent is my question. He's just not an agent signature.
So his license was revoked.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to know.
And I will tell you that this complaint was not only filed at the real estate division, it was also filed with LBR. Because there were a lot of rules that were broken from the code of ethics. And so there was massive fines from LBR as well. So yes, this agent is no longer an agent, which is unfortunate because this is, I mean, how much money do you guys make every single year? You give it up for $24,000? It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Like, you need to reconsider at that point, like career choices.
I won't say anymore.
Yeah. Well, and getting your license revoked, by the way, that shows up everywhere, right? Every time you apply for anything with the government, it shows up. You have to say that happened. Yes.
So he no longer can be a real estate agent?
License revoked. He can go back. I mean, he can go back and maybe, petition in a couple of years and say, hey, I learned my lesson, and then it's up to the commission to say yes or no.
What about in another state?
So if he goes to another state, he will also have to put in there that his license was revoked in another state. So when you apply for your real estate license here with the Nevada Real Estate Division, they ask you like 5 questions. Was your license ever revoked? Have you ever had any disciplinary action? Have you go, right? So they ask you those. You put yes on any one of those, they're gonna wanna see that license history, and chances are it's probably, you're not gonna get your license. Now, some states are a little bit more chill, like Texas, but I don't know if they would actually do it. They don't really care about anything. So it could be an option. But before he ever gets licensed again or ever gets considered for licensing again, he has to pay off these fines, right? Do you know who you're coming up against, by the way, when you're sitting at the real estate division for a hearing? I've said this multiple times.
The Attorney General.
The Attorney General of the state of Nevada.
Not just some guy. I mean,
Yeah.
This is the
Not some
Attorney
dude, it's not like Todd, it's not like me.
We can
It's
all
an
down. This guy
attorney
makes
for
decisions.
general, yeah. I can put you in jail. It's no
I'll put
fun.
you in jail.
It's no fun. But it's really fun for us to watch from the outside.
By the way, if you go to these commission hearings, you get free CE credit while you're there.
Correct.
And
Saves total.
it's actually a lot of fun to, I shouldn't say that. It's
All right.
very educational to go watch,
All right, ready? Next one.
and it's fun.
So we've got David Bo, are you guys, is this exciting to you?
Yeah.
Do you guys like this stuff? Because I love this stuff. Yeah, this stuff gets me excited. I love it. So you've got David Howie, case number 2020, which means it was filed in 2020-486, and he was unlicensed, okay? Unlicensed means he doesn't have a license. Well, he pretended like he did, and he sold some property. So a normal layperson, by the way, who doesn't have a real estate license in the state of Nevada cannot broker a deal for real estate. Did you guys know that? Without a license. They cannot broker a deal. So let's say you've got an uncle who wants to sell, I don't know, his mom's house to his friend.
Niece.
Niece, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter.
Cousin?
Okay, so, let me just start from scratch. Forget I just said all that. A wants to sell a house for B and C, okay? A is not licensed. So A says, hey, so-and-so, B wants to sell their house, and C wants to buy it. I'm gonna go ahead and negotiate those terms for them. I don't have a license, but I'm gonna negotiate the terms, and I'm gonna take a fee for it.
And I'm gonna go open escrow.
And I'm gonna open escrow, and I'm gonna handle everything, and I'm gonna give you all the paperwork.
Because
And,
I've done this before, because I just bought a house myself.
right, I know what I'm doing.
I remember the
Everything's
process.
online, you can
It's
look it up on
easy.
Google.
Yeah, super.
Right? Super easy, right? You guys ever come across anybody who does that? We're like a comedy show up here, right? See what happens?
Realtors do it.
Yeah, I know. Realtors, and some of them aren't even smart. Okay, I'll stop. So that happened. So he brokers a deal for B and C to buy and sell a house, and he takes a fee for it. That is a violation. You cannot do that here in the state of Nevada. It is actually illegal. And so he was provided with a fine. It wasn't that big of a fine, but a fine of $4,000 and then $1,200 in division. $4,000. Okay, that was probably what he earned.
Do you think he applied for a license at some point?
I don't
Like,
know.
was he in the process of getting his license and just thought?
I mean, we can make up all sorts of shit about it.
So this is one of the ones that I think that maybe some of our newer agents who are waiting for their license to come in might easily step into
Ooh,
by
good
accident,
point.
right? I mean,
Good.
I've submitted my license to the division. Did you know that I sell houses now? And, oh, you want to sell, and oh, my cousin wants to buy, and man, let me, so this is one that I think that a newer agent or someone who's waiting for their license to come from the division
Yeah.
could easily step into. So just be very careful that you're not discussing terms of a real estate deal. You're only discussing the fact that you've passed your test and you're waiting for your license to come.
Yeah, good one, yeah.
So if that should happen as it depends on your agent, don't you just go to your broker and go, hey, I have this
Yes.
busy person, can you handle this and some.
Correct.
Again, there are 6 brokers at this brokerage to help you with those types of problems, yes.
Or a team lead could assist you, right? Like I have agents that join my team all the time that are brand new and they always say, hey, I've got so-and-so that wants to buy. Cool, you can watch me do it, but it is my license that we're gonna do it with, right? Until your license comes in, because it takes now 2, maybe 3 months to get your license.
4 to 6 weeks.
Okay, he knows somebody. All right, moving on. Next, Paul Murad. 2019 is when the case was filed. And he had submitted a transaction file for a property to the division, and the transaction file did not contain, guess what? Duties owed. Oh my God, it is a fill in the blank day. So the duties owed has to be the first document that gets
Signed, dated, and time.
Atta girl, I like it. Say it loud and proud. The duties owed has to be the first document that gets
Signed, dated, and timestamped.
signed, dated, and timestamped before
Okay,
any
did
other
you guys
document
know
is
that in
filed.
the digital signing programs, every single one of them, there's an auto time?
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't know that, figure it out, because it will get you in trouble if you don't use it. When they click sign, it should put a date and a time immediately when they do it, not, oh, I'll do it later. It's part of the program, learn how to use that part.
Yep. Fun fact though, that was not in the file for an unrepresented tenant. Right?
Stupid property manager.
So, with property management, right, when we represent a landlord, and we have the duties owed that's signed by the landlord in our files, that duties owed has to be signed by the tenant to show that we represent the landlord, not the tenant. Does that make sense? So the tenant has to sign. This is the same thing that you would do, by the way, for an unrepresented buyer. So let's say you've got a listing, you listed it on the market, it's in the MLS, you've got a sign on the yard, you have a buyer that calls you and says, hey, I want to buy this home, but I don't need anybody to represent me, I know what I'm doing. Cool. You still have to have them sign, the seller sign duties owed, so that they know you represent only the seller. Does everybody understand that? So that duties owed has the seller's name, the seller's box that's been checked, your name, broker's license number, so that they know that we represent, as an organization, as a brokerage, we represent that seller and not them. Because you don't ever want them to feel like you represent them, because then you owe them duties as well. Right? You still have to be fair, honest, and disclose all material facts to any unrepresented buyer. You still have to be do some of the things that you're required to, but you're not representing them. So you're not representing their best interest. You're only representing the seller's best interest. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions on that? That fine was $1,500, but the division cost was $3,487. And then they also had to take 3 hours.
20 cents.
And 20 cents, sorry. And they also had to take, I wonder where they come up with that. Okay, and then they also.
Charity.
I don't know, maybe round up charity. 3 hours of property management. They're not even a property manager, but anyways, moving on. Okay,
Well, I
next.
think this person was a property manager. No, does not have a permit, doesn't say.
Yeah. All right, next. You ready to move on?
Yeah.
Any questions on the last one?
Mr. Bird.
You got a question?
They want you to go over duties owed for a tenant again?
Duties owed for a tenant. So if you are a property manager and you are representing a landlord, and that means you're not representing the tenant, right? The tenant is coming in and they're just gonna be renting the property. So you have the duties owed that is signed by the landlord. That tenant is unrepresented, has to sign that duties owed so that they know that you, as a property manager, only represent the landlord, not them. They have to sign date and time that duties owed before they sign date and time the lease agreement.
And that's for an unrepresented tenant.
Unrepresented tenant.
Because if they were represented, by the way,
They would
would
be
sign.
represented,
Well, but if they were represented.
but they
tenants-
won't be,
Why?
because tenants don't get represented. That was a white paper from the real estate division like 10 years ago.
What happens when you do a rental?
Maybe the next meeting.
You're not representing, I don't bring that white paper, I am happy to
We
point.
have to do the duties over.
Correct.
It's just.
When you are-
It's facilitate, like.
Correct. It's a referral.
Gotcha.
You're referring that tenant over for renting the property. You are not doing the duties owed with the tenant. That was something that happened over 10 years ago. No, it did, maybe 7. Probably 7 years ago. Whatever. It was,
2017.
okay, it was whatever. So you agree with me? I'm right, okay.
Yeah, you're always right. I just.
Next, Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird, let's go to Mr. Bird. Mr. Bird, case number 2020-469. Just FYI, he had 2 broker licenses and 2 property management permits. All 4 of them have been revoked. Violated as he acted as an agent in the real estate transaction and failed to exercise reasonable skill and care with respect to all parties to the real estate transaction by failing to deposit earnest money as agreed to in the purchase agreement and its numerous addendums, as he made material misrepresentations by promising additional sums of earnest money to extend the close of escrow and then refused to pay agreed upon sums, as he made false promises of character likely to influence, persuade, or induce by falsely promising to deposit additional funds of EMD to persuade and induce the complainant to extend the close of escrow. $15,000 fine, $2,032.40 in division costs and fees. By the way, it was...
But there's more.
I know, there is more. You want to read it?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Where did I stop?
So wait, what did he do here? He got an earnest money deposit.
Correct, and it was like a $30,000 earnest money deposit that he failed. You were talking big numbers here, those people don't mess around, right? They take you to court.
If someone gives you $30,000 for an earnest money, they probably have an attorney
Yeah,
or have access to one pretty
I
quickly.
agree. No, I agree,
It's crazy.
1,000%. So $30,000 in earnest money, would not pay, failed to deposit with the company, as he agreed in multiple addendums to the purchase agreement, and he breached his obligation to deal fairly with all parties to real estate transactions.
And there's more.
So he received
Yeah.
$30?
Yep. And then,
Yeah, so you know how you give somebody an earnest money check for 30 grand and then you're supposed to take that to the title company. That's essentially what happened here is he had the money, he just never gave it to the title company.
which is crazy, because they'll come pick that up for you.
I needed the money.
Okay.
It was a rough month.
I know, but you can't change the name on the, can you? On the check?
Sure, I
I
can
mean,
change the name. I'm doing real
which, by the way, let me also point out to you, whiteout is not allowed in the office. You cannot have whiteout in the office. The big fat no-no here. But we have, so there was additional things that he had done. He failed to account for the funds, right, to remit the money? And
Yeah,
so
he never turned the money in.
Not only
That's
did
what
he
the first
violate,
violation was for. That was the first $15,232.40.
right, and then he got another $15,000 fine for not remitting the funds. So it's the same violation essentially, but because he broke several laws, So you've got NRS 645.252, NRS 645.630, NRS 645.6301B, NRS 645.633, NRS 645.6301F, NRS 645.6331H, NAC 645.6.
Is everybody writing this down? Come on.
No, the reason I'm saying is because it was one thing that he didn't do, right?
Violated multiple.
And look at how many violations he got. I mean, you don't mess around with this stuff. By the way, that's also a code of ethics violation.
Yeah, to say the least.
So there would be code of ethics violations that could be filed at LGR as well.
Yeah, so the second one, he was fined that 15,000 plus the division money of $2,487.62.
Yep.
Because in the end, it says he engaged in conduct which consists deceitful, fraudulent, and dishonest dealing by breaching his obligation of absolute fidelity to his client when he failed to pay his client the money he collected on his behalf.
Yep.
So he had the money, he wouldn't give it to his client.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right, next one.
It
This is a good one. This is a really good one. We're good. This will be our last one, right?
will.
It will be our last. Yeah, it's 10:26. Look at how much fun we've been having. So this will be our last one, you guys.
Can we get like a 10-minute extension? I'll send you a dinner.
I got stuff to do. All right, so the very last one, which I think is, I don't think this guy got fined enough. Do you? I mean, it's a good thing I'm not a commissioner because he didn't get fined enough. So you have, it is Bradford Roberts, who is the broker of, well, no longer, the broker of TR Realty. 2 broker's license, property management permits, all 3 of them revoked. And violated by assisting his assistant in engaging in unlicensed activity, okay? Which, again, we talked about you're not allowed to do. That was only a $5,000 fine. Then he violated by failing to obtain property management agreements with the owners of the Copper Palms property and the Delighted Avenue property prior to managing the properties, commingling money from the brokerage payroll account with the operational rental trust account, commingling money by transferring more than his average monthly property management fees from the operational rental trust account to the brokerage payroll account, and then by transferring money from the brokerage payroll account into the operational rental. What? But there was money everywhere. It was like a free-for-all. It was like, hey, we're gonna create a circle around this, and we're just gonna go from here to here to here to here to here.
Yeah,
Eventually,
so
it
it was
will.
revoked for the commingling.
Correct. The property management permit for sure, but that unlicensed activity.
Yeah, the $5,000 fine, I gotta believe that he probably wouldn't get anything revoked for the first one, but the commingling of funds is, that's just,
Yeah.
you're done. I mean, at any time, if you take the public's money, of any amount, and put it with your money, and you get caught, you're done. I mean, the division is not gonna put up with that, and they don't care what the dollar amounts look like. In this case, the dollar amounts were, like, I seen the numbers at some point, I don't remember where I seen that at, but I know Bradford, I mean, I've associated with them down in the association, and he's been on some committees that I've been on, and, yeah, it starts to go sideways, and man, it's really hard to get it to come back.
Yeah.
And he just kept moving money from here to there to cover this, to cover that, and he got caught.
And some of that stuff, by the way, if you've got checks out, and it's called check kiting, has anybody heard of that? Where you write a check.
No, tell us more about that, how does it work?
If you, we'll have a separate meeting for that. So, actually, but that's a felony, right? And
That's
speaking
a
of felony,
state
by the way,
felony.
it's a federal felony.
Or federal,
Yeah.
State, bank.
Those 2. And then you have, just so we are clear, because we talked about this earlier, like, can he practice, you said, with Anson, can he practice real estate in another state? Just so you know, there was also somebody who got a violation for not disclosing their felony on their application this time around as well, and there was a fine for that and so on and so forth. That was Julie.
So they lied on their account.
They lied on their application,
Yeah.
which you can't do either, so.
And guess what happens when you lie on your application?
You don't get approved?
Well, they got approved, but then they got caught that they lied, and guess what happened?
Revoked.
She's revoked.
Yeah.
It's done.
No license.
No license.
Probably wouldn't have gotten it anyway, if she told the truth.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She would have had to pay the fine, though. Oh,
I wonder if she had her license for
It was
2
only
years,
$1,800.
but I wonder if she had her license for 2 years while they were waiting to figure out the case. That would have been interesting to find out. Do you know?
I know her.
Oh, and?
She was one of my students.
Oh, great.
Okay, so Just FYI, we're changing our instructor.
Everything she said earlier, just forget about it.
A long time ago.
Okay.
But she got convicted of a drunk driving and she didn't report it to the division. That's why she lost her license.
Ah.
She didn't report her.
I mean, if you were drunk driving, chances are you forgot anyway.
Yeah.
And with that, somebody got it. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here today. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Go sell some really big houses.